the calendar section of a project are all time-related events relevant to this particular project. So if we have an active production scenario, under the production calendar, that information will automatically show up in here and give us all the different steps of the production. It'll also show all tasks that have a deadline, off periods for actors, as well as filming locations. And of course, if we have any holiday calendars enabled, that'll also show up here. We also have events that we created, like meetings in this instance, and when we click on it, information like the location and participants will show up. Next are the calendar view options. Here we have the whole month display, then the week view, which will give us all day events on top and all other activities below. The day view, much like the week view, will give us all day events on the top and an hourly breakdown of events for the day. And lastly, the list view, which will categorize all events into lists. The calendar categories section will give us all the company calendar categories, which we already covered in depth in another tutorial, as well as anything we created for the project itself. So for company calendar categories, we won't be able to edit anything since that can only be done in the company calendar section. So the only thing we can do is change its color. But project calendar categories like this one here, we'll be able to rename, edit, and do whatever we want using the quick functions. Back in the month view, we have general functions that let us switch to the next month, search for events. We can also filter to get rid of elements from being displayed on the calendar. Or we can even filter for specific stages in production. And we can filter by groups or crew members to display the events that they'll be a part of. Next, we can subscribe to different calendars. And as always, we have different PDF exports which will be affected by the view mode we've chosen. To create an event, we can use the buttons here, or we can simply click on a date on the calendar. We can specify whether it'll be an all-day event or give it a time frame. Add a title, let's go with meeting, then a description, and include a location, which the system will find based on the search address. Next, we can add participants, and that can be users, external contacts, groups, units, and actors. If we do choose an actor, the system will remind us of their agency and that we should include them in the meeting as well. After we hit create, our participants will receive an email notification of the event. External contacts will also receive an ICS file attachment. But in the case an email address isn't entered in Yamdu, the event will show up in the user's dashboard. Then we can set the visibility for just production or pick multiple groups. We can also select a calendar category. And down here we get warnings that two of our participants already have an event on the same day. And the warnings can be picked up from all projects in the same company. So in this case, we can make different suggestions and all the users can let us know which day suits them best. And finally, we can always add images, files, and resources. And once we create, the event will show up on the calendar. And now we can always click on any event on the calendar to get additional details, like locations, which will be pinpointed on a map. And of course, all information will be linked to other parts of Yamdu, so we can see that this location's off period is linked to the calendar and vice versa. Alright, that was the project calendar in Yamdu. Stay tuned for more tutorials.